Hi YouTube, it's Wolfenville Development. This is my 379th weekly update. Good news, I went ahead and just put up the Summer Scorcher footage that I had. Unfortunately, something's up with the aspect ratio. I'm sure if I spend possibly a lot more time on it, I could probably get it sorted out, but honestly, it's watchable, and the weights are all listed there, so there's that. I also can't seem to find the discussion piece I had to go with it. If I find it, I'll put it up later, but as of right now, there just isn't one. So, it is what it is. Yeah, that's all there is to it. It just is what it is. Hopefully the comp footage is enough for all these people that are just clamoring for the footage. Anyway, this week of training was pretty good, honestly. So I signed up for it is a comp, but it's closer to a charity event than a comp. It's an unsanctioned meet, strongman style competition. I believe 5 events, and happening in South Florida at the end of January. I won't have to cut any weight because it's 2 weight classes, under 231 and over 231, and as I'm already dieting down for my February comp, I should probably be weighing in around 195, worst case. So I've got that going for me. Won't have to cut down. Weigh-ins are day of, so it's going to be one of those comps. Actually kind of close to powerlifting if you think about it that way. Well, certain feds, I guess, right? I guess some have the 24-hour weigh-in. Doesn't matter, I'm rambling. So one of the other guys at the gym had planned on doing a comp sometime last year, I think, and it ended up kind of not happening. Essentially, the comp got canceled. And so oh no, it wasn't even last year. It was in like August, I think. September, October. It was in October. And it ended up getting canceled. Was it October? No, it was like late September. Sorry, I'm kind of just, these years, they all just meld together anymore. But the comp got canceled on him, so he ended up not doing it. And then this comp popped up, and he said he wanted to do it, so we started training for it together. He's actually going to have to cut about 5 to 10 pounds to hit the under 231 class, but he'll probably fare a little bit better trying not to deal with the heavyweights. That being said, we started training together for the comp a little bit, which basically just means adding some of the events back into the program. Luckily, I always leave a little bit of room for some adjustments, and when it comes to implement training, the way I look at it is almost like an Olympic lifter, where it's all just about skill acquisition with the actual implement. Things like farmer's yoke, log. As long as you're training pressing movements throughout the year, or training deadlift style movements, or movement in general throughout the year, usually you only need about 5 to 6 weeks to throw those actual events back in and sort of knock the rust off and get good at them again. Usually not even having to train most events more than once or even twice a week, and that's kind of a high frequency for most strongman events, to do it more than once a week. Because again, it's about the skill of picking up farmers and moving with them quickly. But as long as you're training deadlifts throughout the year, the deadlifts kind of transfer over to the farmers a little bit in terms of picking them up, with things like hand strength and that sort of thing. So the cool thing is, this particular competition is going to have a max double overhand axle, and I've been looking for a comp that would test my grip and sort of put me up against some other people, finally, that are also hopefully good at grip work, and really see how I stack up. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I mean, I've made some heavyweights pretty shameful. by how much I'm able to beat some heavyweights by in terms of my grip strength. But it looks like some real freaking monsters are going to be out there this go around. I mean, I've seen some people training for this event, and they're pulling over 330 on a double overhand axle, which is really good. I mean, regardless of body weight, it's a very challenging implement to get good at, and it's one of the best tests of grip, which is why it's often used. It's also very simple in terms of a grip challenge versus, say, farmers, where there is the grip aspect of it, but it's more about speed than max crushing force with your grip. So is also a farmers event in the show. It's $250 a hand for our class, which is it's not par for the course. It's a touch lower, and I think the reason they chose that weight is because there's going to be people there that normally compete in the 175s like myself. So they had to pick a weight that wasn't too ridiculously light for the people that would be essentially cutting down to 231, and not too heavy, so you would have a bunch of zeros from the lightweight guys, which is fine. I've done 275 in comp after setting the record, so my grip was already pretty shot. So I'm looking forward to that, hoping I can get some good speed on that. Just did a little bit of that training this week on them, and they felt good after like the third run. I was like, okay, this is how you do farmers again. So I'm happy that I have a few more weeks to practice and get good at that event. Interesting to be entering a comp and knowing I can hit all the opening weights. The only one I'm a little worried about is the Conan's wheel. We don't have that actual implement at the gym. We don't have a car deadlift implement either. But, I've done car deadlifts before. They're challenging, but they're not, I should be able to get at least one. And there's really no way for them to tell you what the weight is, so that one's a little up in the air, but I'm not nervous about it. Even if I zero it, it's whatever, it's fine. I don't plan to, but it won't be the end of the world if I zero it. They have a log for max weight, which the opener is 180, which I'll be able to hit at least that. And then it jumps to 200, which that'll be a PR if I hit that, so that'll be kind of exciting. And then max axle, farmers, and then a Conan's wheel. The best way we've got to train that is a yoke. And yoke Zerchers will get you, they'll get you kind of far with it. Part of the problem is a lot of Conan's wheels are so unique. Most of them, there's no standard for it, so each one's just a little bit different on how the weight hangs and moves when you move with it. So the best you can train for when you don't have access to the actual implement is to do Zercher yoke carries and try to make them smooth as possible. And it's really the best you can do. And if you do that, it'll still get you pretty far. The weight is 500, which I don't know if it's actually going to be 500 in the arms. That's one of those things where they say these numbers, but much like a car deadlift, they'll tell you the weight of the car, but that's not actually what you're lifting. Similar to a Viking press, just because it says 300 doesn't mean that's the actual weight in the hands. The weight in the hands might be something like 250 or even 200 in some cases. And same thing with the car deadlift. The car weighs 2,000 pounds, but you're not picking up 2,000 pounds. You might only be lifting 300 of it when all is said and done. So that's the only event that I'm kind of like, let's just hopefully, we'll just train it best we can, try to be smooth as possible with the Zercher carries, and then get their day of and sort of play with the implement and just do my best. I'm not worried about that one, and this comp's not even really a important per se comp. Again, it's unsanctioned, so there's no skin in the game, other than just doing some fun events that a lot of comps have not done in a while, like a Conan's wheel or a car deadlift or a double overhand max axle. So should be an exciting comp, and training went very well this week for all of that. Squats went great, deadlifts were rough, but we got through them. Pressing was pretty good. But I'm pressing again tonight. I haven't yet. We're doing a New Year's party at the gym, which I'll be cooking a little bit for, actually. I should go cook in a little bit now for that. And yeah, so that's the big news this week, and the exciting thing about that comp. And we're gonna play it as smart as we can for training. We don't have a ton of time. Got about 4 weeks left or so of training, which means we've got about 3 that we can actually go, kind of hard at, which is fine. That's a perfectly good amount of time to knock the dust off of some things that I haven't done in a very long time. I want to say there's a yoke too, but I could be wrong. If there is a yoke, it's probably 550, which I've done 600 in comp. So I'm not all that concerned with it. Yeah, again, just got to knock all the rust off everything, throw some more of the implements back in the program, and then I also have to start throwing in some implements from the Orlando Strongman happening in February, and get good and ready for those too. So yeah, look forward to the updates there. Have a good, happy New Year's, a safe one. If you drink, try not to drink too much. It's really not worth it. And if you, yeah, that's about it. Oh, recording the yearly update right after this one, so look forward to that. And if you don't, then what's your excuse?